Days I suffer, there seem to be more cars on this street than usual. The nights that I have the hardest time, like last night when my oxygen dropped really low and the pain was so unbearable all night long. It's sickening. It's sickening to live here for 30 years and not know you're in a community that is murdering your parents and using untraceable technology and weapons to make people have accidents and make it look like natural causes, just to kill your loved ones. And you have to go through the pain of going to the hospitals and trying to help them get better, and see they take their medicine only to find out they're using some of their friends and to change the prescriptions at pharmacies, and some of their people in bad medicine, nurses and stuff, to give them bad drugs. And you find out that people are dying, but they're not dying because of their own negligence. You know, when I used to go to the doctor's spa with my husband, sometimes the doctors would get up in the community and they would give speeches about how Kentucky had the highest heart attacks. Kentucky had high lung cancer. Kentucky had the worst at one time environmental pollution of all of 50 states. Kentucky has now the highest of child abuse of any place in the world. Indiana has the highest child abuse. So for a while we had the highest heart attacks and OCPD in the country. And everyone would always say at these doctor balls and places, oh, it must be the factories, it must be Philip Morris, the smoking, the cancers and all these, and the heart attacks. And I'm like, no, that's not it. There's too many other unexplained deaths and illnesses in this state. This is bullshit. So I finally, after they murdered my parents, and they told me it was a Secret Service agent, my husband's ex-wife, and some people in Illuminati, some writers and film people that wanted to steal my work, and her sons that are in special forces to try to steal our land and destroy my marriage and try to put us on a kill list. I started seeing the devil everywhere. I started photographing the devil here on rocks. Well, ever since I was a little girl, I had to fight this dark fear that I developed after watching some horror movies at a young age with some distant kin. And I started watching at Fright Night and at Creature Features, and I'm the kind of little girl that when my parents are sitting in the other room playing cards on a weekend, I'd be sitting in the living room watching the vampire movies, the old Dracula movies, and I'd be sitting there half scared, half not scared. As long as my parents were nearby or the light was on, I was pretty cool. But they couldn't believe how I could watch horror movies alone and not be freaked out at a very young age. Well, I developed a morbid outlook. I mean, I had an incredible imagination, and someone with a mind like mine that's inquisitive and highly fertile, that people at advertising agencies used to tell me, no one can ever harness your mind. It's so out there. My friend Tom DeMuth on Schneider and DeMuth Advertising used to say, Sherry, you're going to be a more millionaire than me someday. You've got the most fertile mind I've ever seen, but nobody will ever be able to harness it. I didn't know what he meant to these horror writers and these film people took an interest in me that I had in mind. I never knew it was anything exceptional or that it was broad or that I even had an imagination. No teacher ever told me that. And so I got stalked by these crazy people, and they built an empire off this mind of mine. So now they want to destroy my mind because I won't let them use it for evil to enslave humanity and build this devil den. And so I'm finally starting to try to see what the truth of meaning in life and how serious life is and how you don't play with people, and I don't do fiction now because it's destroyed lives, and life is not fiction, and people need to stop glorifying death, and they need to stop thinking that you can do something bad in entertainment and not have it affect reality. Everything you do affects reality. You can kind of create reality, and when you do horror, nothing good can come out of it. And don't brush it off as entertainment. People are dying. It's not something you put in television to excite yourself or get a thrill off of, like vampires when they drink blood and you're scared. You get a thrill when you're young because it's the unknown and because it's frightening and it's psycho. You know, people doing that, and it blows your mind. Well, have outgrown that young state. I know it's real. I've seen people in government now that do call themselves real vampires, and I've seen it's not just fiction. There is an evil and there is a good. And an evil darkness destroys life. It destroys the beauty in life. It destroys happiness. It destroys healthy bodies. It destroys a sane mind. God gives you the choice. We're blessed if we have sanity. But when you deliberately flirt around with something that is deadly, that hates mankind, that wants to destroy our soul, wants to destroy our good, you're an idiot. When you grow up and you mature, but see, society won't tell you these things because the evil people are now multiplying. The devil's taking over, and they're making a buck off murder. They're making a buck off horror. They're making a buck off deceiving the masses of innocent little newcomer babies to thinking warped like a devil. So the beast mentality and this dark energy is taking over good. And some of this energy is like something you feel during a game or competition. When these people get together and they have this adrenaline rush, this high, it can be actually bad if it's for a dark cause. And they're profiting on it, but they're getting people so addicted to the rush of the film industry and their porn addictions and their game addictions that it is overcoming their mind. It's taking over their will. It's destroying their free will. It's destroying their senses. And that's where you have all this stuff happening because they can't turn it off. Once mankind develops some of these addictions, people are too weak to turn it off. And then they get them hooked on drugs. And now they're controlling them like puppets because the beast is there and they're opening a portal. And like with me, they're destroying my brain every night to whittle away areas to try to put the thing in. It took years since the beginning of time before they could. And now I'm sick and suffering today because I see the true picture. And they would love to just kill everyone of my age that has lived enough in the world to know good from evil, to know when things were good and what happened to make them bad. So man is just going to be destroyed and devoured because now they're letting the beast run the government and the whole world. They've opened a portal and it's running the cyber system. Pan for the devil. When they put that rocket up into space, and said they sent it to the moon, but Apollo, when they put those up and invaded the heavens, they brought it here. And even though it was always here in the dark side of our mind, God gave us everything we needed to block it. Luckily, in a sane, healthy mind, God always prevailed over evil. But man, these idiots in the world have shapeshift. They've let something in them to where it's taking over them. And if they wanted to turn it off, this thing is now in them and it's preventing them from doing what the man of long ago could have done through empowering God to save him. These people have fallen, but they don't want the world saved because they're too weak to resist. And now I see why I'm seeing the devil everywhere in Kentucky. I think it was always here. I think that's why Kentucky was once going to be called Transylvania, Louisville. There's been old world money here for ages, and a lot of times you get to where the money is, you have the criminals. And it's like when I was in Vegas, all the worst killers in the world were there, but they just kept the crimes hidden because it's a tourist city. They go where the money is, and just like if you want to know who's doing this to me and others, you follow the blood trail and you follow the money trail. You want to know where the devil's crimes are, you follow the blood trail. And here it's on the end of my street. I'm the only one I think has ever taken a picture of the real beast. The big wingspan, the horns. It's right here on my property. They've been bringing it here through coming here and putting these radio waves and data and radiation. The MUFON found things here that would kill people, and they're putting it all over my land, and they were secretly using us for human experiments. They're trying to make the thing get in me. They're trying to force it in me. And they tried with my mother and my father, but my father resisted, and they murdered both my parents. And so this thing is now affecting everyone in the community. Paranormal things are happening. They said their dead relatives are coming back to them. They're seeing things. Their lights are flickering on and off. They say my land is another universe, that this is the only place they've seen. There's a portal here, they say it's to another dimension. And it took years of killing people and experimenting on me and my husband that they could find that. But I showed them pictures of my swimming pool, and I said, when I swim, it's like my mind can go in so many dimensions, some other place with the spirit world. And then I think if I hadn't taken pictures in lab, they probably would have been too dumb to figure it out. They're not very swift. When I'm taking pictures in the sky and on the rocks, no one has ever seen, no one's ever had, and they still keep stalking me, and they keep busting my equipment. If you were really someone wanting to know about the hereafter and about good and evil, you would want me to have the best equipment there is. They have caused me to have accidents and stuff and break my best cameras. They have damaged all my computers. They busted out the hard drives and every one of them. You know, instead of working with me to put the pieces together that man has never put together before, they want to punish me. They're angry. And I think they have to be nuts, because I used to have such an insatiable desire to find the meaning in life and good and evil and put the pieces together, that it was exciting to me. And when I started did unraveling mysteries and finding truth and good and the meaning of life, I was sad that I ever questioned, because when you really are a sane, level-headed, good person, like my parents, you never question those things. My parents were so giving and loving. They were just happy every day that God gave them life. They were happy every day if they were healthy. They were happy to exist, and they never flirted with disaster or questioned anything unknown. They just had a great, natural, loving soul that was just so appreciative to the divine for anything they had. And they worked hard and never got a free ride. They struggled and worked for everything they ever had. You know, so I was privileged enough that I had the free time to get out and explore and travel the world and go to over 25 countries and go look and see what the world was about. But it's sad that of all the places I've ever been in my whole life, the worst evil I've ever known has been here. The more near-deaths experienced from people trying to kill me has been here. The slavery has been here. The torture has been here. The drugs trying to be pushed on us, I didn't use at a young age. Trying to get kids into porn when I was in high school, having wet t-shirt contests here in town at the only disco for minors. I mean, this was all Kentucky. And now I see why. The beast is everywhere. And I have pictures and videos and everything. And I got noises on my property of the beast's voice. Things you've never heard. And it's not because I was not looking for it, but I was looking to figure out why life was so unfair. Why were things so unbalanced? I was this kid at a very young age that said, I want everything to be fair. Life's fair. It's got to be fair. And people tell me when I got older, it's not fair. And I'd say, oh no, it's always fair. And then I'm really sad because I asked God, why wasn't life always fair? You know, when you're good-hearted people like my parents and you don't hurt anybody and you do everything right, you never break the law, why were these bad people allowed to sneak and do these terrible things to them and to me and others in this town? Why? And I still ask that question, why? And now they're trying to tell me through the Star Wars program, join Darth Vader or die. Then I realized this Darth Vader that's running our government, putting satellites everywhere to enslave everybody through invading their minds and destroying their body, controlling them, is the Antichrist. It really is the Antichrist. And this is my property. This is the unmowed part of my property. My husband has grown up because we have 10 acres and you can't mow everything because of that. So, and plus he's been out of town for 2 weeks. He had to go take his plane to get it serviced, and turns out they didn't have the part, and he had to stay gone for a while. And so he mowed the grass right before he left, but he was gone for a while, and it's growing back up again. But as you can see, parts of our land are completely developed, and the other part of our 10 acreage is being wild. But plus it's great because the animals love it, because we have hundreds and hundreds of wild animals here, because we're the last remaining acreage and all the development, and all the animals came here. So we had 10 acres fenced in, and I have fed them the whole 30 years we've been here. So the birds too. So this is their little oasis here. And all of that woodland over there is their home.